Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Roundtable with Noruwa Edokpolo. This is where we engage in meaningful, life-giving conversations that tackle the challenges that believers face in today's world. And today, we're looking at 2025, and we're preparing to enter it, and it's a perfect time to reflect. How has 2024 been? How can we grow, improve, and become a better version of ourselves? Our topic today is becoming a better you in 2025. It's about equipping you with practical biblical principles to help you thrive spiritually, emotionally, and even professionally and in every area of your life. I'm thrilled to welcome a dear friend, an old friend, Adeyanju Olomola, a leadership and organizational coach who knows what it takes to build strong teams to help us unpack this exciting and transformative topic. Yonju, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So do I address you, Pastor Noruwa, Noruwa?
I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself.
Ojo.
Myself and Yonju date back many, many years, and it's been a wonderful relationship right from way back. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, get ready for insights that will inspire, challenge, and empower you to become what God has called you to be. And like I always say, the views expressed on this program, on this podcast, are the views of the speakers. We do not represent or speak on behalf of any other entity. So just in case you know me in other platforms or under other banners, I'm here as Noruwa Edokpolo doing this. So before we continue, can I ask you to please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, and share this link with family and friends and get them on board. So Yonju, tell us, who is Yonju?
Adeyanju Adebowale Olomola is, in one word, what is it, two words now, God's conduit. So I see myself as a channel for God to flow through and be all he wants to be to everyone that comes around me. That, in a nutshell, is who I am. And by day and night, I'm a wife of one, a mother of two amazing young men, twins, who just in uni. So it's a new season that one has to ask for permission to to access so many things, including the stuff you're paying for. And also, I work as a leadership and organizational coach, serving leaders across various cultures and organizations. And in the last year, almost 18 months, I have been narrowing on, focusing on women and helping them, overcome self-doubt and navigate leadership transitions. But I work with all genders, but I just narrowed down to women at the moment.
Thank you. So guys, don't be scared. I mean, she walks across all genders, and this conversation is both for men and women. All right. So let's get into it. Becoming a better you. What does this mean for you personally? I mean, how has this concept shaped your own life?
Hmm. Every time I hear, that, I think, it means a lot to, people. But for me personally, I see it as a continuum because it presupposes that who you are right now is not better, and there is an opportunity for you to be better, whether it's in who you are or what you're doing. And there is that best state, so to say, that you're aiming for. But I see it as a continuum. I see it as an evolving journey that, you keep getting better. And particularly as believers, as the scripture says that, our light shines brighter and brighter until the perfect day. So becoming a better you for me is an evolving journey. It is a continuum. Who I am in 2024, the sum total of who I am in 2024 is definitely going to be, moving forward, it will be better in 2025. It will be a lot more robust and whatever it is I have defined, for myself that I think it should be.
I like the fact that you mentioned that scripture. So looking at this as a Christian, how, I mean, one would think that, so you are born again, you're a child of God, that's it, you're good. But here we are talking about you evolving. Here we are talking
Mm.
about you transforming. How do you place that, side by side, the fact that you're supposed to be born again now, isn't it? So why do
Mhm.
you need to be transformed, and why are you evolving?
Even as the scripture says, it says, except a man be born again, and that presupposes birth. And from birth, you grow. I mean,
Mm,
take a little child, and Jesus likens us to be like little children. And it's not
mm,
to stay there forever. There is growth even um, in our walk with God and in our relationship with God as children of God. There is growth. So I see it as we are growing until we become, the essence of who God created us to be. So
mm.
there's growth. Uh,
Okay.
There's growth.
Okay. So I mean, are there, I mean, so again, the year is ending, and I'm looking at myself and I'm asking, have I done well? Is there a need for me to grow? I mean, why should I want to grow? I don't know. Why should anybody want to grow? What is, if I think I'm doing well, if I think I'm fine, I mean, why should I want to grow?
Hmm. That's a very interesting question. Because I mean, at the top of my mind, I'll think, if you're questioning the need for growth and you think you're all there, I'll say, fine, stay as you are. So, leave us that are not there yet. We want to be like you. But I
Mm,
doubt if there's any human being who,
hmm
unless the person has come to the end and they know that they have come to the end of their journey on this earth, they know with a
mm,
certainty, and just like Paul said, I have fought the fight, I have won the race, I have run the race. Unless
hmm
you can say with that absolute certainty, you're still
hmm
growing. Even
So,
if you think you have what you need right now,
so
tomorrow is
chances
another day.
are, chances are folks listening to us recognize that, just in case you thought you had arrived, you haven't arrived. Yes.
Hmm.
There's room for you to grow. And I think that's so, you know, somebody said something about looking back to look forward. All
Mm,
right. How can you look back in such a way that you don't you're not beating yourself down? How
mm,
do you look back? So for example, I could say, oh, 2024 was a lousy year. This didn't happen, that didn't happen, that didn't happen. So how can I look back in such a way that I'm empowered, even
mm.
though there could be some, some lapses, some challenges in the past? How do you look back? How do you look back successfully?
That's an interesting question. And, as you were talking about looking back, to move forward successfully, I think of a car, the destination, you're moving forward, you're
Mhm.
going in a particular direction.
Mhm.
And to move forward, even if, you look back just to see where you are, you don't continue to look back.
That's it.
Yes, it's only going to be a few meters, and your car, God help you, if you're on the bridge, you're definitely going to end up somewhere else. For people, I think it's to make peace with the past
Mm,
and
mm,
understand the reality of the past, the present as well. The past, you can't change. It has happened. You can decide to stay in the past, beat yourself down, stew there, and all of that. You remain there. Nothing is going to happen. Or you can decide to acknowledge the past. Yes, it wasn't good. It was all of that and everything. Okay, so where are you now, and where do you want to go to? Because really and truly, you're not bettered by focusing and staying in the past. Yes, it wasn't good. Fine. Yes, it was, not what you wanted. It was lousy. It was bad. It was all this. As believers, you can actually say, "Ah, I thank God." As cliche as it may sound, at least I have life. But the
mm,
actual fact is, it's only when there is an absence of life or life is threatened in any form, then
mm,
you would know the power in that statement. I thank God I have life. I'm
mhm,
still alive, at
mm,
least, all those. So for me, it's acknowledging the past and realizing that that is exactly what it is. Even when it was a successful past, a successful 2024, it is still there.
Mm.
You still have to continue and you have to go forward. So it's realizing that and realizing that you can't do anything about it, but you can do something about now and going into the future. That arms you to be able to say, okay, right, bad bros, we're moving forward.
Making peace with yesterday. Yeah. How can believers set meaningful goals for 2025? Goals that align with God's purpose for their lives?
Hmm. Earlier, I think it was beginning of 2024, and I going in 2023, going into 2024, that I just realized, we're setting goals for the new year, and there's that frenzy of ending the year right. If you go through posts and everything, you see all those posts, and absolutely nothing wrong with them. I also share them about you taking stock of the year ending right. You still have 5 weeks or 4 weeks, before 5 weeks. November and December is a 5 week month. You still have 5 weeks before the new year. What can you do and how can you, fast track on your goals, and then set goals for 2025 and what have you. And in my mind, it feels as if, we're starting and stopping, starting and stopping. But life is a continuum, and your life doesn't end and start again, in 2024, I mean, in 2025 or even 2026. So if you step back and view your life as a continuum and you look at the goals that you have set, what are the long-term goals? What is God coming back? What is God saying about you? And I don't want people to get into that frenzy of purpose. And, at times that thing can just kind of like derail people, because your purpose is found in the word of God. At times we're looking for some esoteric and big, great announcement. It is there. If you don't even do anything but just to pick the Great Commission, that is our purpose, to make disciples of men. So, coming back to that thing about setting meaningful goals, that are aligned with the will of God for your life, is coming back to God. What is the overall goal, or what is it that He has, placed in front of you? And you'll find that for a number of people, it unfolds season by season, and the seasons can be years, it can be multiple of years. So it's really looking at what is that big goal, or what is the essence of who I am. I started off by introducing myself as God's conduit. And now, if that is the essence of my life, whatever goals I set for 2025 will be derived from that. How much how many people or how much impact am I having? What are the opportunities for impact? So you can see that I'm going to be building on the goals for 2024. I'm building on the goals for 2023. I'm building on the goals for 2022. And if I look at my business, my goals haven't really changed. The year that I tried to do something different, it wasn't a good year for me. But when I went back to the basics to say, okay, who are we as a business and what are we here to do? And how do we build and scale on that? I haven't really shifted from, the original. So for me, for anyone who wants to set meaningful goals for 2025, is first realizing that your life is a continuum. So you're not going to discard everything up until December 31st, 2024. It is a continuation, going into 2025. So what has God said to you, or what is God, opening your eyes to? How do you set goals around that for your personal life? And also if you're in paid employment, or if you own a business or whatever it is, even if it's ministry, what are those goals? And asking the Holy Spirit, to really help you in defining the key pillars. And I am a proponent of something that, my former CEO used to say, the vital few. Don't go chasing after 7, 8 things. You'll lose track before the end of January. Focus on 3 main things. He never used to allow us to do more than 3 goals when you're setting business goals. 3 goals, and that will give you the biggest, bang, or the biggest, impact. And be clear. And those 3 goals is not for you to have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. 3 key goals that you can measure progress and success on.
Thank you so much. If you're just joining us, this is the Roundtable with Noruwa Edokpolo, where we have conversations on contemporary issues of the Christian faith. And today we're talking about becoming a better you in 2025. And my guest is a dear friend, Adeyanju Olomola. Olomola, thank you very much. Now, somebody said something recently. He said that, it's almost like it's in the habit, stupid, as if to say, it's not about goal setting, it's about habits.
Yeah.
All right. It's the habits that inform whether you make it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about habits. Yeah. Because I mean, whatever you become is really a culmination. It's as a result of the things you do, habitually,
Yeah.
frequently. Like, so,
Mm-hmm.
so I want to sing. All right.
Mm.
It means that I practice every day. I want to play the keyboard much better. In the year 2025, I want to be able to play the keyboard from level 5 to level 4, whatever that means, from level 3 to level 2. Now, I'm not going to get there just by wishing. I'm going to get there by saying every day I'm going to spend 1 hour on the keyboard. All right. 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, etc. So let's talk about habits. All right. How difficult is it to develop what I call sustaining habits that nurture spiritual growth, personal discipline, etc., etc.
Um, I I think what's this guy's name? Simon Sinek that's
Mm-hmm.
said, start with why.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you forming that habit, or why, do you want to even achieve that goal? That in itself will enable you to have like anchors as you, move along, forming that habit. And at times, we feel that we can, just that we're consistent with something for a week, we're able to sustain it. We're human beings. And I think research has shown that, to form a habit, it's no longer 21 days. It's actually, if I'm not mistaken, about 42 days that you're going consistently, to begin, and your body and everything about you now realizes that this is something that is consistent and it's on its way to becoming a habit. It's easy to still stop it. I
Mm-hmm.
remember on this fitness journey, I decided, we all have different, ways. I decided that I was going to be walking, and it all started from climbing just 3 stairs, the flight of stairs, and I was panting like I couldn't talk. And my MD was saying, "You're not fit to." I was like, what's this man saying? But I literally couldn't talk. I had to sit down for 5 minutes. That's when I knew that this is not about you looking slim, but I was not fit, and decided, brisk walking, because it enables me to think, to pray. I listen to podcasts, and just good being out for an hour. Now, I found myself doing it once, twice a week. It didn't help. I then now joined a challenge with some friends. This was like 7, 8 years ago. It started out first with 1 million steps in 100 days. And we were tracking and uploading our records on a daily basis and seeing how other people were faring. That's when I realized I have a competitive streak in me. So it just became, it was like, no, I must hit my 1 million steps in less than 100 days, which I did. And then she did another one like a month after that. This was Christmas, hitting 500,000 steps in Christmas, which meant one, you're calculating the number of steps you need. You first have to sit and plan. How do I hit this 500,000 by the 31st of December? And there were prizes. So it's for you, what do you gain by forming this habit? So for
Mm-hmm.
example, the analogy that you gave, or the example you gave about somebody playing the keyboard and wanting to improve, you need to know, in order to get to that level, how many hours or minutes do you have to practice on a daily basis? So I actually came out with an Excel sheet and, divided 500,000 into 30 days. Now realizing that weekends, I have more time to walk, so I can do more during the weekends, both morning and evening. And realizing that, yay, I'm going to get to, this. And I did. And what it meant also was walking on Christmas morning, walking on
Mm-hmm.
Boxing Day.
Mm-hmm.
And the day, I mean, when I walked Christmas morning, 7 a.m., I felt like whoever was opening windows would be like, there's something wrong with this one. But for me, it was a case of I have a goal and
Mhm.
this is what, I would. And that really shifted my perception of forming habits. It became like the bedrock for me in terms of, habit forming that
Mhm.
now I don't walk daily, but people think I do because they're so used to seeing me. Some people set in my estate, there was a lady that stopped me and she was like, her daughter uses me for whether they're going to be late for school or not, because around 7:30 we would, pass each other on the
Mhm.
way. And if they don't see me, she's telling the mom, we're late, we're late. We haven't seen her. And I'm like, I didn't come out yesterday. Oh, I didn't, and all of that. So in habit forming, you're quite right. It's in the consistency, with which first is, the why. Why are you and what is the end goal? And then you realizing that you can't form a habit in a week, a month. It takes longer.
Mm.
It takes
Mm.
longer.
Yeah, I've also had my journey with fitness. Um, um, Recently, I was convinced that my scale has gone bad.
I don't even use that thing anymore.
I told my daughter, I'm convinced the scale has gone bad. She said, Daddy, I don't think it's a scale. Yeah, but I mean, yes, I mean, I do like 60 minutes every day, at least 4 or 5 times a week. And I try to add a bit of, weightlifting, etc.,
Mm.
etc. It's not been easy, but I think for me, I just convinced myself that you have a choice. You either want to
Hmm.
grow old and be strong,
Yeah.
or you want to grow old, and be at the mercy of the elements in the manner of speaking.
Mm.
So if you're listening to us, um, and you are toying with your health, you're hearing it, we're both middle age now, so do something about it before it gets too late. Now, what are some common obstacles that people face in their journey for personal growth? And as a coach, I mean, this is smacking your space. What are those things that seem to hold us back? I mean, somebody's listening to us now and wishing, oh, I wish I could do this. I've
Mm.
tried it not once, not twice, I didn't succeed. What can you tell that person to say, these are some of the obstacles, and this is how you can deal with them?
Mm. I still come back to
Mm,
that why and what do you envision of yourself? If I think, and let me backtrack a bit. For me, this journey of growth, personal growth and professional growth started with what a question, the very first coach I worked with asked me. I was talking about, what next and all of that. And she just said, what do you want written on your epitaph?
mm,
My Nigerian African mind first went and Christian mind went, we are asking for professional help. What has Tombstone got to do with it? In my mind, I was rejecting and casting, but it really got me thinking that, oh my God, wife, mother, daughter, and the dates, is that
mm,
the sum total of my life? And
mm,
that got me really thinking that, no, I don't want, wife, mother, the beloved wife, mother, daughter written on my epitaph. I want something that will make people want to find out about me or say, yes, indeed, she was this, and which, led about me coming to the fact that I am a vessel for God and I'm a pipe for God, to flow through.
mm,
So it's understanding, what the why is and, what is the goal for your, the overall or the overarching goal for you. And then realizing that, the obstacles, fear, doubt, self-doubt. Are you, am I, can I, will I, shall I?
mm,
All of that will be there, especially if you're going into areas where you've never gone before, and
mhm,
that happens. And it's realizing that you have a choice. And people also don't realize that indecision is a choice. You have
mm,
really chosen not to do anything. You have a choice that, in spite of all that is going on within and around you, you can stay and remain as you are, it's a choice, and it's a valid choice. Or you can decide that I am going to get up, I am going to be better. I don't know how, but I will find out how. I will seek God's face, and I will find out how I can be more than or better than, where I am. So it's the acknowledgement of the fact that there will be so many obstacles, and the obstacles can be both within or, without, or a combination of both. But it's also that inner decision and that desire, fueling that inner desire that I really want to be better than I am right now. And even if all I can do is say, God, help me, I will do that. And He does help. And it's also for me to open my eyes and my ears to the help that He sends or He, brings about, and to take, a step after the other, one step after the other. The thing is, imagine someone who started walking from Aja, any location in Aja, in January. This person would not be at the Lagos Ibadan toll gates in June unless they went somewhere and slept for 5 months. This person, January 1st, started walking from Aja in whatever direction. I dare say this person would be out of Nigeria, would have been out of Nigeria months ago. So with one step, you actually make progress. But people want to jump, want to like sprint. Start with one step after the other. Today, you did one thing, thank God. Tomorrow, move forward. Take one more step, take one more. And by the time you look back, you're definitely not where you started. You may not be where you want to be, but you are farther away from where you started.
Bravo, bravo. How important is accountability and community in becoming a better version of yourself?
Oh, I think it's really important. And particularly for people who are naturally introverted, it can be a bit scary, that you're opening up yourself. But the thing is, when you realize that by yourself and on your own, you haven't made much progress, how bad? It will be like those four lepers. I say, look, if we stay, we die.
Right.
If we go, well, even if we die, well, at least
At
we're not
least.
like the people who are in the, in the city who are
Yeah.
doomed, for death. Let's go and die outside. So it's important because having someone or a community that you're accountable to does a lot for you. It's beyond the accountability, but it's also having people who are like champions or cheerleaders for you and rooting for you, and a support system, as well. And people who also can challenge you, and people who can even go with you along the way, up until certain. So I really believe that song, No Man is an Island, is so true. We can't do it on our own. And I don't know why at times, as believers, we look for solutions outside the word of God. Jesus had disciples. He had people he worked through. He had the 12 and he had an expanded. He had communities. He had women that were supporting the ministry. He had a lot of people around him. And we think, we're going to be lone stars, blazing, global blazers. You need community.
What I'm finding out, it's almost as if you took a peep into my questions because you always lead me into the next question, interestingly. Because what I'm going to ask you now is, how do you balance this as a Christian, trusting God and at the same time taking practical steps, toward personal development? Because I'm sure I mean, SU
Yeah.
days and all of that, I'm praying for the will,
Mm,
and you don't do anything. Are you
yeah.
getting it? And some folks just seem to just go without even talking to God and they're succeeding. So
Yeah.
yeah, you begin to feel bad that, Lord, I spent all the time seeking your will, that kind of thing. And here is Lagbaja, who was not even frequent in fellowship, and he seems to be making it, So where's the balance
Mm,
between trusting the Lord and, doing something,
mhm.
this is something I suspect that many Christians struggle with.
Yeah.
How far is too far? How do I keep in step with God? You know, should I think? Should I do something? How do you draw the balance?
Mm. Last night, I was chatting with a friend, and this particular question, came up, and she was like, "So, what about this saying, as in about pray as if everything depends on God, and then walk as if everything depends on you? How do
Mhm,
you balance, that?" Which is
mhm,
exactly, and I told her that I believed that up unto a point, and I really don't think that both are like mutually exclusive. If
mm,
we say that we are His and we are His own, and I will take us back to the life of Christ,
mm,
there was that perfect balance, in terms of doing the work and being the Son of God. The
mm,
relationship foiled, for me, my understanding is that the relationship with God foiled the work that he did. So, in
mm,
order to be able to do more, he needs to make sure that that relationship is living, it is growing. So, you find scriptures that says that he withdrew and was by himself,
mm,
and that wasn't like I mean, it didn't give the impression that it was every evening that he was, and with all apologies, if you're waking up at midnight or 3 a.m. and all of that. But for me, I don't know about people, that there are times when you've gone through a period of sustained prayer and God acts. And there are
mhm,
times when it is just a sigh or
mhm,
an unspoken prayer. And
mhm,
it's as if he deploys 10,000 angels. And you're wondering, how do you do this? So, on one hand, your relationship with God, I believe it fuels, the work that you do. He has made us rational, thinking, living, breathing, active humans. And he expects, I believe that he expects us to use our minds, to use our hands, to use everything that he has given us. And I see that in my work, that I am thinking of a scripture, or I've prayed, and I'm just like, the answer is around me. I
mm,
just need to, and maybe I listen to a podcast and there's a word the person says, and it just kind of like everything begins to come together. And I take action on that thought. At times, we're also waiting for the skies to, for God to use that finger to write on the wall for us, and everything. But you have those small nudges, you have those insight, is
mhm,
acting on those things. So, yes, we have to, be in relationship with God, and also go out, do the work that we have to do, whether it's, ministry in business, or ministry in, corporate life.
So it's the balance, isn't it? It's the
Yes.
balance. Yeah, it's the balance. It's the Oyedepo said, after you finish praying, then you think. After thinking, then you do. Yeah, pray, think, do. So how do we I just want to maybe spend a bit more time there. How do you differentiate between growth that glorifies God and, like somebody said the other day that um Christian, pastors, our purpose is not to go viral, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's, I mean, it's almost like we are chasing clouds, like they say now,
Yeah. Huh.
but on the other hand, somebody would say, but, we need to influence people. So,
Mm.
how do you differentiate between me, trying to become influential for my sake, that kind of thing, as opposed to me wanting to glorify God, as I look into 2025, So the things I'm desiring to do, are they things that would glorify God? Or are they just things that will, make me gain more clout, if you like, make me more influential, if you like? How do I balance that equation to ensure that at the end of the day, it is still primarily about God and His glory?
If you're someone who is active, and so I would ask every listener to apply this to their lives. If you're someone who is active on social media, maybe you're active on a platform and you write consistently, and you believe that your platform is for the glory of God and your writing is for the glory of God, for the days that you have thousands of comments, and likes, and for the days that it is absolute zero, and maybe one, your spouse, let's just like this thing, and maybe your children even, and it becomes two or three. If your heart can remain afloat the same way that, oh, that had impact, to the fact that now it's one or zero, it's the same way. Your responsibility is to do what he has called you to do and leave the rest. It's a very tough act to balance. And I know that, a lot of people spiral when those likes dwindle and they want to like push it or use words that catch people's fancy, that's what, And the thing is, when you realize that you really need to be focused on what it is that God has called you to do, or um, God has called you to do and say, when you realize that that is the focus, every other thing will pale into, insignificance. I shared a post about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. It was 3 weeks ago, and it was like a throwback, and I was saying several years ago, on my birthday, I wanted two things. That was the opening line. I wanted to worship and I wanted to laugh. And I got, I had our keyboardist before he left the country in my home church just come and lead us in worship for an hour. And my husband got this two comedians, one tall and short guy, still ringing. I don't know where they are. And we laughed. And for me, that was what I wanted. Would you believe that on one of my social media platforms, I was hearing happy birthday, congratulations, happy birthday. And I was just like, I went back to the original post to say, how did I sound like today was my birthday?
Birthday.
There were 23 comments in the first 2 days, and it was all happy birthday. And I realized that this particular platform, people were just responding without reading. The primary platform, people responded based on,
What
the
you
post
wrote.
because they read.
Read.
It goes to another platform, IG, and people, it was a mix. One person that said happy birthday, and I was like, She then backtracked to say, oh, I'm sorry. And then now, wrote something else. So you can imagine if I'm living for the likes and the what have you, I realized that, okay, all I just need are human interest angles because people respond to that. I need to just that, and then you begin to go into error bit by bit, that how do I embellish the story? It's not in quotes really lying, but you're just embellishing it so that you can get more sympathy or you can get more comments. But if you speak as you believe God has, asked you to, it's not about the likes, even if it's just one person, and you realize that one person, you don't know where that is going. Yours is to release it as
Bravo. As
that.
given.
Yes, as given.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Thank you. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Roundtable with Noruwa Edokpolo. This is where we have conversations on contemporary issues in the Christian faith. We try to bring out these things and deal with them in such a way that, we equip you with tools that you can actually go out there with and live. And today, my guest is Adeyanju Olomola. We're talking about becoming a better you in 2025. There I add and further. Okay. So, Yonju, what are three simple, accountable steps that people can take from today to become a better versions of themselves 2025? Three. I'm following now from your former MD. Just three.
First is, defining who you are, and, this is who you are in God and all that He has proposed you to be. And you definitely know that it's more than where you are right now.
Mm.
And the second thing I would say is going to Him. He's the one that has the blueprint. He's the one that knows who you will be in 2029. Him giving life. He knows where you'll be in a decade's time. So
Mhm.
why try to find the answer when you can go to the person that has the answer and have him
Mhm.
show you the blueprint? And whatever blueprint he shows, ask for direction and take that first step,
Mm.
one step
Mm.
at a time.
Mm. Mm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the new year presents you with a great opportunity to press the restart button if you're listening to us. And with God on your side, you can make it. As we begin to wind down now, I'd like to say a big thank you to my dear friend Adeyanju Olomola. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. By the way, she's my coach, even though she doesn't agree to that. Right. You can follow me on Instagram at TRT with Noruwa, on YouTube at The Roundtable with Noruwa, on Facebook at The Roundtable with Noruwa Edokpolo. By the way, if you check out my seller page, I have a coaching program. I call it Discover Your Purpose and Live a Fulfilling Life. It would help you if you really want to gain traction on becoming a better you in 2025. Thank you for tuning in to The Roundtable with Noruwa Edokpolo. And until next time, stay blessed and thank you very much. God bless you.